Hey YouTube, how's it going? Biofusion here, and today I'm going to talk about these headlights, and we're going to do a small install video. These headlights are through sup-light. They supply them through Amazon. Now, these lights are pretty nice. Just taking them out of the box, I mean, these things are pretty heavy duty. As you can tell, I mean, these things aren't too bulky. Really nice. The wires are a little dirty because they were sitting in my truck, but not bad. Now these are a really cool design. So the low lights that you would see normally would be this strip right here, and the high beam is going to be all these lights right here. And for your daytime running lights, it's these little white lights right on the side. Now, for my truck, I am not going to be running the daytime running lights anytime soon. It's an old truck and it has some bad wiring, so we're not going to wire that up. But I'll kind of talk to you and show you like how you're supposed to do that, just so you know what you're doing if you want the daytime running lights. So right here is basically everything that comes in the box. You have your little plug-and-play switches, just in case, like mine, this factory harness, if you plug it in straight into the back of this one, it's a little loose. So they provide you a harness right here, just in case that happens. So the red would be your positive, the black is the negative, of course, and then this is just an extra wire for like turn signals, stuff like that. So it makes it completely plug and play. Now, as the DRLs, or daytime running lights, there's a little wire right here on the back, and you just hook that up to a fuse or an existing light that turns on when the vehicle is on. Super simple, nothing major, not a whole lot of major cutting. Everything is super well built. And the other really cool thing about these lights is, so if you do start to notice moisture in it, they have this little cap right here in the back that you can just twist, leave overnight, and it'll actually dry out that light. That way you don't have that moisture in there anymore. But other than that, I mean, these things are really cool. And then we'll go ahead and move the camera over to the truck and we'll install them. And so on my truck, it's going to be a little different. Every vehicle, there's a few tools you might need. With my truck, we're just going to be using a Phillips head screwdriver. Other vehicles, like a newer vehicle or something, you'll need like a screwdriver or a trim piece to remove the trim bezel pieces under the hood. But for mine, I just need a flathead screwdriver because it's an old truck. All right. With further ado, let's get over to the truck. Alright, so here's a small before video. These are just the normal headlights that come in the truck right now. Nothing major. I mean, there is a decent amount of light output, but it's not like significant. And it's nowhere near what an LED light is going to look like. As you can tell, we'll get a little bit closer. Yep, just the old running headlights. Nothing fancy, not too bright, and we'll do a comparison once we get the new ones put in. Alright, and now we're at the truck. So like I said, these headlights are super easy to install. As you can see, I've already kind of gotten this side off, taken apart and all that. But I will show you how to put it all back together. We'll go over to the other side. I'll take that entire side apart, show you how it's done, put it back together, and then we'll compare the LEDs to these lights. So it's not super hard. Like I said, this truck, I just need a Phillips screwdriver, as I'm going to be using a drill, not an actual screwdriver. But, you know, anybody can use any tool, just a normal screwdriver or drill. The flathead screwdriver, if you need it for any of the trim pieces on like a newer vehicle. But with that being said, let's get into it. Let's get these headlights knocked out and show you just how bright they are. So I'm going to pick up my drill. So we're going to just pull this out, and as you can tell, this headlight's just kind of sitting in there by the wires. So we're just going to pull that old headlight out, just like that. Now, before we go and put the new light in, we need always make sure your wires are kind of put into the correct cubby that they're supposed to be in. So like this one kind of popped out. No biggie, just kind of push it back in there. and slide in. This is normally just a housing to kind of keep those wires together. We'll zoom in just so you can kind of see it a little bit. Nothing special, just a little housing. But now, before you go and put the headlights in, always make sure to check the piece on the back of the headlight. Like I said, this piece, if I just plug it into that one, it's a little loose. You don't want that. So that's why they go ahead and they send you a little kit. So what you'll do is you'll just line these up into the ones that they go in. So like this side, you'll have the red light or red wire on the top. You'll have the yellow wire, and on the other side you'll have your black wire. Yep. And it looks like this piece popped out, so we're just going to push that back in, make sure it's secure, and we're going to go ahead and push that in there like that. And this is basically what it's going to look like when you're done. It's just kind of like a small extension. And then after that, we're going to take the new headlight, which is right here, and like I said, this little wire right here, this is your daytime running light. So my truck is an 82, so I have a lot of electrical issues that I need to fix before I ever hook this up, but later on down the road we'll definitely hook this up. I'll kind of make another video later on when I get all the electrical issues, but most of the part you'll just find a fuse that's constantly running, or it turns on with the fuse, or yeah, you'll find a fuse that turns on when the vehicle starts, or you can tap it into another light, kind of like a headlight, or this positive wire right here, because when you turn the truck on, the headlight's going to turn on. So you can do that with the daytime running light. So now you're just going to plug that that new one in, and I'll just kind of pull this through here. So we're going to plug that one in right here, like said and done, without dropping the light. Alright, like that. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to feed that wire right back into here. That way that sits right in there. And then the next part, which is super simple. So a lot of these headlights come with a little bezel that holds them into place. Mine's this little kind of makeshift metal piece right here. And you just set it right over the headlight. You line it up with the holes. And if I can find a screw, we're going to put a screw in here. Because once you get one of those screws in, then it's easier to get the rest in. Find my drill. It's right there. We'll just go ahead and tighten that up. Like that. And then the best way to do it is take one, put it in the bottom, and I'll zoom in for you to see exactly what that looks like. Alright, so on each headlight there's going to be two on each side. So you see these two up top, and then you get these two at the bottom. Super simple, nothing major to really attack, but yeah. You just put, and we're going to put those other two in. I'm going to switch it back up here. Alright. We're going to get those other two knocked out. Alright. Just like that. And that one's hooked up. So what we're going to do is we're going to get the little plastic piece, and I'm going to and sometimes you just gotta beat it back into place. Just like that. Alright. And there we go. That new headlight's in there. nice and sturdy. We'll go ahead and put those screws back in. So you get one right here. Got one right over here on the top. If it goes. There we go. We have one that's going to go right here. Hold that up. And we have one right down here at the bottom. There we go. We finally got it in. Alright. And now on to the next side. Alright, now we're going to get to this side. This side's going to be just a little bit simpler. Mainly because I am missing a few screws on this bezel piece. But other than that, I mean, it's going to be the same process. But we'll run it through and show you. And then we'll show you how they look afterwards. So again, we're going to take this screw right here on the top. Just kind of set them to the side. Always make sure to put your screws where you don't want them to get lost. Mine, it came like that, so there's nothing I can really do besides buy new screws later on when I get new parts. But if you don't want to lose your screws, there's always little parts up here on the truck or Jeep, or get you a little like Ziploc baggie and just start putting your pieces in there as you go. That way you don't lose anything. But what we're going to do, we're going to pop this little guy off right here. If he wants to come off. Now I said it was going to be easy, but oh, there we go. Alright, and we'll just kind of lift this to the side so we pull that bottom piece out. There we go. And then we're just going to twist that light out, and bam, that piece is out. Nothing too major. And with those bottom lights, you just kind of have to twist and then pull them out. Now, I will be upgrading those to LEDs later on, but in the meantime, they're just going to stay there because, like I said, there is a lot of wiring issues with this truck that I need to take care of. But for now, we're just going to leave it like this. So, same thing with this headlight. Each headlight's going to have this little metal housing. It's always going to have 4 screws. On any vehicle that has these 7x6 headlights, you're just going to take all 4 off. Be very careful as you go if you're doing this by yourself, because that headlight will kind of pop out when you start to loosen it up. And you'll kind of see when I start to loosen these up as we go. As you can see, it starts kind of forming away, and like I said, the headlight's going to kind of start to pop out. Just be careful. It won't fully like explode, pop out at you, but just always make sure you have a small grip on it when you get that final screw out, just in case it goes to fall, and because you do not want it to hit the ground and shatter. Even if you're replacing these lights, I mean, you definitely do not want to mess afterwards. That's no one's intentions at all. So again, we're going to take this headlight out. We're going to take that stock housing off the headlight, just like that. And that is out. Now, again, they do send these little housings for a reason. In case it is loose, always check before installing fully. You do not want to get into an install and then have these bouncing around in the vehicle, because then your headlights are going to flicker. It's not going to have a good connection. It'll get water in there, and that'll just be bad. You don't want that. Absolutely not. So let's go ahead and get these ran to the correct position and get that new headlight in. So the black's going to be on this side. The yellow's going to be up top here. And that red's going to be on this far side. Just like that. And that piece is done. So let's go ahead and get that headlight hooked up. And just like that. Now the headlight's hooked up. We're going to push these wires back into the housing. Just like that. And it's going to sit right in there. So let's get that housing back on, which is this. And now when I go to put the housings on, I always put one screw up top and one screw on the bottom, just to be sure like I have a decent fit on both sides, because like I said, you want to be careful, and you definitely don't want to drop the new ones, because if you damage them, that it will not be fun, because then you'll have to send them back, you'll have to wait for the new ones, and then that install will just kind of get frustrating after a while. So just definitely take your time when doing this. Don't rush yourself. I know having new headlights are really cool, but just take your time and do everything correct the first time. That way nothing gets damaged or anything like that. So, and see, when I always put that top one in, it's gonna pull that bottom up. So always be careful. Get that screw in there. And just like that, it's got a good tight fit into there. We'll get these last two screws on. And bam, that headlight's in there. Alright, now it's time to put the bezel back on. And it's super simple. You just go ahead, put this old light back in here, twist it into place, and we're gonna pop that little bad boy down at the bottom in there. I'm gonna get these lined up just like that, and then we're gonna get those last two screws in there. As long as we don't drop them anywhere. That one's there. That one there. And done. Now, just going to show you the headlights on. We're going to do a comparison of the low beams and the high beams. Again, the running lights will not be shown because I am not hooking them up with all my electrical issues. We will go and hook them up later when I get all that taken care of, so we can do another little video on how to go about all that. Like I said, if you want your daytime running lights, just hook it up to a fuse that turns on when the vehicle turns on, or hook it up to a little running light or something like that. So let's go turn the headlights on and show you what they look like. And wow, look at that comparison. I mean, these things are 10 times brighter than those original bulbs that were in there. I mean, just look at that output. It is just crazy. I am super excited to have these. I am really glad I went and picked these up. I will put a link down in the description. You can definitely go check out their headlights, go order some. You will not be disappointed. These grates are awesome. I'm glad I got a hold of these lights. I'm glad I purchased some. And I actually ordered some of their rock lights as well. So we're going to go ahead and do a a video later this week installing some rock lights on the truck as well. That's going to be a super easy install. That one's not going to mess too much with the electrical because we're just hooking up to the battery. So we won't have to get into any crazy add-ons or wiring or anything like that. But, I mean, these headlights, I mean, just look at them. They are awesome. Just truly amazing. I mean, they are bright. And we'll go turn on those high beams. We'll show you what those look like.